Hey everybody, this is Rykard here again, and welcome to another Pokemon Sun and Moon Movesets video. In today's video, I'm going to be talking all about the new Ultra Beast Celesteela. So let's get started by taking a look at this Pokemon's typing, ability, and stats. So to start things off, Celesteela is a new Steel Flying type Pokemon introduced into the 7th generation, and the second Pokemon ever to possess this unique typing, the other of course being Skarmory. But being one of the Ultra Beasts, as its ability, Celesteela has access to the unique Beast Boost ability, which upon KOing an opponent's Pokemon will provide Celesteela with a +1 stat boost to whichever stat it has with the highest numerical value. And for those base stats, this Pokemon has a base 97 HP, 103 defense, and 101 special defense, making it effectively very bulky, especially when considering its really good typing that gives it a ton of different resistances. Offensively, however, this Pokemon also has some good stats, with base 101 physical attack and 107 special attack, allowing Celesteela to also be a powerful physical attacker or special attacker. Finally, this Pokemon has a base 61 speed, which is on the fairly low end. However, this Pokemon, being a steel type like many others, has access to ways of boosting its speed stat to remedy this situation and take advantage of its great offensive stats. But with that, let's take a look at the first moveset that I have for you in this video. So for this first moveset, we're going to begin by giving Celesteela either a Jolly Nature to boost its speed but lower its special attack, or an Adamant Nature to boost its physical attack but lower its special attack, and then going with an EV spread of 252 physical attack EVs, 4 special defense EVs, and 252 speed EVs, which will allow us to increase our physical attack by 1 stage as a result of the Beast Boost ability when we KO an opponent's Pokemon. But for the items, there are quite a few options here, the first being a Choice Band to boost the power of all of your physical attacks, the second being a Choice Scarf to boost your speed, a Life Orb to boost the power of all of your attacks at the cost of losing 10% of your health every time you damage an opponent, but also allowing you to use your moves freely, unlike on the Choice sets, an Expert Belt to allow this Pokemon to increase the damage of super effective moves, an Assault Vest to boost its special defense further, Leftovers to allow it to recover HP at the end of every turn, a Shed Shell to prevent this Pokemon from being trapped, specifically by Pokemon that have access to Magnet Pull, or a Z Crystal to correspond to one type of attack on the set to give Celesteela a one-time super powerful move of that type. But for the moves on the set, the first one that we're going to go with is either going to be Heavy Slam or Iron Head to be this Pokemon's main stab steel type attack. Both options are very good because Celesteela is a very heavy Pokemon, but you may opt to want to go with Iron Head just because it's consistent damage and it also has a chance to flinch. Additionally though, we're going to be running Earthquake to give you some really good type coverage, and also Stone Edge to give you that great Edgequake combo. But as for the last move, there are quite a few options that this Pokemon can go with. The first being Seed Bomb to give you some pretty good grass type coverage against a variety of opponents you might be up against. The second being Fly, more specifically to be used in combination with Flying EMZ to give this Pokemon a super powerful flying type move to make use of, flying being of course one of the most powerful attacking types in the game because there's only a handful of things that resist it, or going with Explosion as this last move to allow Celesteela to blow up once it reaches a low range of health. And of course, if you do go with Explosion in combination with the normal type Z Crystal, you'll get a super powerful normal move first and then still have access to Explosion later, which could come in handy with some type coverage options on the set. Now on the other hand, if you would like to run the set a little bit more bulky, you can start by giving it first an Adamant Nature to boost its physical attack but lower its special attack, and then running an EV spread of 216 HP EVs, 252 physical attack EVs, and 40 speed EVs to give it significantly added bulk, as well as enough speed to outspeed base 65 speed Pokemon that it falls just short of outspeeding, while also again retaining its powerful physical attacks and power. Also, just for this variation, keep in mind that you probably wouldn't want to run a Choice Scarf for it because you're not investing a ton in speed, so I remove that as an option here. As for this next moveset, we're going to seek to boost Celesteela's speed to allow it to be a more effective sweeper if it has the opportunity to set up. So for this set, we're again going to go with a Jolly or Adamant Nature and the same EV spread as before, but for the items this time, including either a Life Orb, an Expert Belt, Leftovers, or a Z Crystal as an option. For the moves though, the first one that we're going to go with is going to be a way of boosting our speed stat, either in the form of Autotomize or Flame Charge. Autotomize obviously boosting your speed by 2 stages while also making you lighter, whereas Flame Charge will actually deal damage but only boost your speed by 1 stage. so the type coverage could be a reason to go with Flame Charge over the other option, but keep in mind that both still are viable. But as for the other moves, again, we're going to go with Heavy Slammer Ironhead to be your main stab steel type move, and then running Earthquake in the second attack move slot to give you some very good coverage with that. Finally, for the last move slot, we can round off the Edgequake combo by giving you Stone Edge, or going with the options of Seed Bomb or Fly like on the previous moveset to give this Pokemon some additional type coverage and allow it to hit other things on its opponent's side of the field very hard. Now on the special side of things, Celesteela also has quite an effective offensive move pool that it can make use of to highlight its powerful special attack. So for this set, we're going to start off by giving it a Timid nature to boost its speed but lower its physical attack, or a Modest nature to boost its special attack but lower its physical attack, and then going with an EV spread of 252 special attack EVs, 4 special defense EVs, and 252 speed EVs to give it its maximum special attack and speed possible, while also making it so that when this Pokemon does KO an opponent, Beast Boost will increase its special attack. As for the item on this set, we're either going to go with the Choice Specs to boost your special attack power, a Choice Scarf to boost your speed, a Life Orb to boost the damage of all your attacks at the cost of losing 10% of your health every time you damage an opponent, an Expert Belt to boost the power of super effective moves, an Assault Vest to increase this Pokemon's special bulk, Leftovers to allow it to recover HP at the end of every turn, a Shed Shell to prevent this Pokemon from being trapped by a Steel type that is packing the Magnet Pull ability, or obviously the new Alolan Golem that has access to it as well, or going with the Z Crystal option to give it a one-time super powerful move of that type that corresponds to the Z Crystal at one point throughout the battle. But for the moves, our main stab Steel type move on the set is going to be Flash Cannon, and our main stab Flying type move is going to be Air Slash, both of which are really great attacking options for this Pokemon, and also keeping in mind that Air Slash also has that really great chance to potentially flinch an opponent. In addition to this though, we're going to need some added type coverage, and Fire Blast happens to be one of the most perfect moves for this Pokemon to use, as it allows it to damage Steel types super effectively. Lastly though, we're either going to go with Giga Drain to allow this Pokemon to have a powerful grass move that will also recover health, which could be an ideal fourth option for an Assault Vest set, or go with a little bit of a stronger grass type option in the form of Energy Ball. Additionally, we could also run Hidden Power Ground to allow this Pokemon to have a powerful ground type move to use against opposing steel types that are going to be immune to your Fire Blast, like Heatran, and also allow this Pokemon to match up a little bit better against opposing electric type Pokemon. But again, on the other hand, if you want to run this set a little bit more bulky, we can go ahead and just give it a Modest nature to increase its special attack but lower its physical attack, and then run an EV spread of 216 HP EVs, 252 special attack EVs, and 40 speed EVs. As for this next moveset, just like with the physical variation of an offensive set for Celesteela, we can also run a specially offensive one that seeks to boost its speed stat to make it a little bit more of a threatening sweeper if it gets the chance to set up. So just like the previous set, we're going to run a Timid or Modest nature and the same EV spread, with also similar item options, including a Life Orb, an Expert Belt, Leftovers, or a Z Crystal. But for the first move on this set, we're going to be going with Autotomize to allow this Pokemon to boost its speed by 2 stages, thus making it significantly faster, and that, coupled with the special attack boosts it can get through Beast Boost by KOing an opponent, will make Celesteela very threatening. But just like before, we're going to include Air Slash and Flash Cannon to be your Stab Steel and Stab Flying type attacks, and then for your third attack option, either going with Fire Blast, Hidden Power Ground, or Giga Drain to allow this Pokemon to have some additional type coverage and damage more things super effectively, and allow it a little bit of an easier time sweeping an opponent's team. Now moving on to some movesets that highlight Celesteela's defensive capabilities, we're going to start this one off by giving it either a Bold Nature to boost its physical defense but lower its physical attack, or a Calm Nature to boost its special defense but lower its physical attack, and then going with an EV spread of 216 HP EVs, 252 physical defense or 252 special defense EVs to max out either its physical or special defense, depending on how you want to run this Pokemon, and then running the remainder 40 EVs into its speed stat, just like before, to allow it to outspeed base 65 speed Pokemon it may be matched up against. But for the item on the set, since it's a little bit more defensive, we're either going to go with Leftovers to allow it to recover HP at the end of every turn, or make use of the Shed Shell item to allow this Pokemon to not be trapped being a Steel type by anything that has access to the Magnet Pull ability. But for the moves, on this set, the first one that we're going to go with is going to be Leech Seed, which is super interesting that this Pokemon even gets it, because I'm pretty sure it's one of the only non-grass type Pokemon to have access to this move. But it's a fantastic move and one of my favorites in that it will allow you to more or less quote-unquote status your opponent by putting up a leeching seed on them that will slowly drain away their HP at the end of every turn and heal you at the same time. In addition to this, we're then going to run either Air Slash or Flash Cannon to give us Pokemon a Stab Flying or Stab Steel type move, and then running Fire Blast in the third move slot to allow Celesteela a reliable way to deal with opposing Steel types that would typically wall its Flying or Steel type moves. Additionally, Fire Blast as well as Air Slash, which we've mentioned previously, allows Celesteela to be a very good user of Leech Seed because of the fact that the only type of Pokemon that are immune to Leech Seed are Grass types, which Air Slash and Fire Blast both hit super effectively. Finally, for the last move on the set, we could either run Substitute to allow Celesteela to get behind a protective barrier to shield it from attacks and statuses while it attempts to leech off of its opponent's HP, or make use of Protect to give you one turn of absolutely no damage or anything to happen to you while you attempt to Leech Seed and stall for Leech Seed recovery. Now on the other hand, we could run this exact same moveset making use of physical moves. So to do this, we're first going to change the nature options up to be either an Impish nature to increase your physical defense but lower your special attack, or a Careful nature to increase your special defense but lower your special attack. The only other thing that we're going to change with this moveset though are going to be your attacking moves, which for the second move slot will either be Heavy Slam or Iron Head to be your main stab physical steel type move. Also keeping in mind that Iron Head could be particularly more useful if you are faster than an opponent, because if you do land a flinch on your opponent, you will get basically a free turn of Leech Seed recovery, which is really awesome. Additionally then, we're going to run Fly, Earthquake, or Stone Edge as our secondary attack option, giving Celesteela a way to have some additional type coverage. Fly being great in the fact that it hits grass types super effectively, which are immune to Leech Seed, but also in the fact that it allows this Pokemon to be immune to damage for a turn, thus netting you some free Leech Seed recovery. Additionally though, Earthquake and Stone Edge are options here to give Celesteela some better type coverage overall and allow it to round out its offensive power in combination with its Steel type stab. But anyways everybody, that is it for this video on Celesteela. So thank you all for watching, and as always, take care, goodbye, and I will see you all next time.